Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Now, coming up later in our show, we'll have a special report, a news blitz from Leanne McAdoo, and also a report from Joe Biggs, who's on the ground in Paris, France. And let's start off the show by talking about Paris, and in particular, what to do with all these Syrian refugees. The Obama administration has said that they want to bring a very large amount, tens of thousands of Syrian refugees here to the United States. Now, we already have some here. There's an article that's out in local Dallas news talking about how Dallas has a growing Syrian population. Multiple governors, including our governor here in the state of Texas, Greg Abbott, has said, you know, let's kind of back off this for right now. Many other governors have joined suit, said, hey, we don't want the Syrian refugees here. Now, first of all, let me say this. I definitely understand that there is a reason why people are coming from Syria in such mass numbers. That is the Syrian conflict that's going on over there. And it's not exclusively the United States' fault, but the United States is a very large contributor to the violence that's going on there. When you consider how we've been arming groups like Al-Qaeda, who are going around, well, first of all, Al-Qaeda, who is known, AKA by this term Syrian refugees, are going around killing people, burning down villages, chopping off Christians' heads, setting people on fire, all these things that you've seen in the videos that have come out over the past couple of years. They've been launching chemical attacks. Then Obama gets on TV and says it was the Assad regime, not vouching for Assad at all. But you can see in the video that they showed on multiple major news outlets here in the States, it had the Al-Qaeda watermark on the video, just like you watch something, let's say you're watching CBS, you're watching a CBS football game, right? It has the CBS logo in the corner. They had the Al-Qaeda logo on the video, but they said it was Assad. That's just how dumb they think the American people are. So with that said, I understand that the U.S. is a contributor to violence in places like Syria, Yemen, Pakistan, many other places as well. And people want to leave those areas because they are in legitimate fear for their safety. So they want to come here or other places, but this is a very large target for them. But then the question comes about, how are we going to go about vetting such large numbers of people, you know, tens of thousands at a time? How do you do that? Because you think about some type of background check here in the States, right? You're in some type of database. We all are, whether it's FBI database, you know, NSA, whatever. They can do some check on you and see, okay, this is so-and-so. He was born on this date in this hospital in this city to these parents. You can't really do that with people who are basically going off the honor system and saying, hey, my name is, you know, John Brown, and I'm from such and such village in Syria. And then they just have to take their word for it. They can't really scrub a database and find out who these people are. Also, the top advisors in Washington are saying, Mr. President, we can't vouch for all these people that you want to bring in such big numbers. Not saying that we should close the door to them. We just have to find some way to work around it. And as I said earlier, we need to hold the politicians accountable who are making situations worse in these countries. And with Obama, of course, we know Yemen, Pakistan, Mexico, states or places that have had repeated drone strikes blowing up churches, drone strikes blowing up wedding parties. In Mexico, they're running guns, giving guns to Mexican drug cartels. So I can understand the people in those locations wanting to come here to the United States for safety. And there are other issues and things going on in those countries as well. Also, the Bush administration, Iraq, depleted uranium, people having poison in their lungs, people becoming poisoned, having sick children. It's not just for the people over there. The people who come back home are fighting men and women, Gulf War syndrome. Many people attribute to the depleted uranium, and also Reagan with Iran-Contra, making the situation worse down in Central America, South America. People are still feeling those ill effects to this day. So, of course, people want to go someplace where they consider it to be much safer. But in the meantime, you have politicians who use your tax dollars to go make countries worse. And then when the people want to come here, they want you to use your tax dollars again to accommodate people. And I'm not, like I said when I started the broadcast, I'm not touting a closed door policy. I'm saying that the politicians who are making these situations worse need to be held accountable for their actions. These people are not taking pay cuts. They're not allowing people to live on their private ranches or in their Chicago penthouses or anything else. They want you, the American taxpayer, to mess up your finances and fund, I don't even want to call them their mistakes, because they knew what they were doing. They knew that this was going to blow back on it some way or the other, and they just want you to pay for it. So there is no one size fits all to this that I can see. But I think what we really need to start doing is just hold the politicians accountable who made things worse in the first place. Now, with that said, I'm going to go on to my articles here, and we'll talk about the threats that are already in the United States of America. America's enemies within. how nearly 70 have been arrested in America over ISIS plots. It says U.S. authorities have charged at least 66 men and women with ISIS-related terror plots on American soil, including a handful of refugees. President Obama insists that slamming the door in Syrian refugees fleeing ISIS would be a betrayal of American values, while he funds al-Qaeda rebels and sends drones to blow up innocent people. But 34 governors are refusing to take any more in case jihadi fighters slip into the states and repeat the carnage of Paris. And if you scroll down through the article, you can see the people who are listed as those suspects. And as I keep repeating, I can't say enough, I don't have a closed door policy, but we need to have some way to vet the people that are coming here. If that means taking resources, let's say we just take the NSA and have them run background checks, fine. Let them do something actual useful instead of just spying on you through your Xbox video camera. And as we talk about the situation going on in Paris, many people are saying that, hey, Paris is a largely disarmed area. If people had firearms, they'd be able to at least fire off a shot. So Americans are seeing this. They say, we don't want to be victims of this. So they're going out and buying guns in very vast numbers. That's pretty much always happens after a gun-related incident, whether that be domestic or abroad. People realize that despite the best efforts of the police, they had something on the line today. I think it was on Drudge, as a matter of fact. It was a lady who they called RoboCop. I mean, she was tacked up from head to toe. They said she even had some bulletproof goggles on. And as awesome, and I'm sure that lady is, she wasn't there to protect the people, not knocking the cops. I'm just saying you need to have a means to protect yourself. So now we have Americans rush to buy guns in the wake of Paris attacks. Gun sales and concealed carry permit applications in the U.S. have spiked in the days following the terror attacks in Paris, according to gun store owners. And while guns are going off the shelves, guns are also going missing. And we have the article, hundreds of guns lost or stolen from Bay Area authorities. And these include grenade launchers, sniper rifles, and M4 rifles.
A 4-month-long investigation by NBC Bay Area uncovered hundreds of police-issued weapons lost or stolen and put back onto our streets during the last 5 years.
They aren't being stolen by legal residents or people who otherwise can go into a gun store and purchase guns. They're being stolen by criminals to be used by criminals to be used in crimes.
From those agencies alone, we found 58 guns that have been lost or stolen in the last 5 years.
And earlier in the broadcast, I was talking about the Bush family, their exploits in places like Iraq. And now we see Jeb in the never-ending war. Jeb Bush, the long-shot presidential nominee, wants more Americans on the ground in Iraq.
The United States should not delay in leading a global coalition to take out ISIS with overwhelming force. We need to intensify our efforts in the air and on the ground. While air power is essential, it cannot bring the results we seek. The United States, in conjunction with our NATO allies and more Arab partners, will need to increase our presence on the ground. Here's the truth you will not hear from our president. We are at war with radical Islamic terrorism.
Shane Steiner's involvement with InfoWarsLife.com truly happened in an organic way. I went to high school with Shane, his brother, knew his parents well, and he was visiting the office once, hadn't been to the office in years, and said, wow, I notice you're making and selling supplements. Do these really work? Because I've tried a lot of supplements as a workout enthusiast, and I really think most of them are hype. And I said, here, take some home, try it. Well, a few weeks later, he came in blown away and said, I want to buy 3 boxes of this stuff to give my friends and family. It's simply amazing. He said, why does it work so well? And I said, listen, go to InfoWarsLife.com, watch the informational videos with Dr. Group and others. They understand how it all works. I know that it works for me. That's all I understand. The science, the facts, the research, people's testimonials, they're all on InfoWarsLife.com. You can check it out for yourself.
I wanted to go to the gym. I wanted to push myself and work out harder. And that led to me being able to come out and do stuff like the barefooting and the surfing and stuff like that, which I've never done. I never would have done that 2 years ago.
Shane has said over and over again, more than just libido and energy, it made him want to get into the gym more. It made him want to get in better shape. And believe me, the Steiners have amazing genetics. His brother is a world champion steer wrestler. His dad, Bobby Steiner, is a famous world champion bull rider. They've got natural genetics. But when you added this to the mix, in Shane's own words, it took him to the next level. Shane noticed the mental clarity. Bobby was able to work out longer and gain muscle mass. He's already completely shredded. I gotta admit, for me, the biggest effect has been libido. Now, I've never claimed to have a body like some beach model, but back when I was 20, 22 years old and worked out every day, I looked great. But over the years, and being married, having 3 kids, and working 18 hours a day, I gained basically 100 pounds. And it's been a long process losing that weight in the last 4 years. But if you look at the photos and the videos of what I looked like 4 or 5 years ago versus today, the results are dramatic. I'd already cleaned up my diet, I was working out hard, but I'd only lost about 20 pounds. It was adding the other key ingredients from InfoWarsLife.com that helped me personally go to the next level and shed another 35 pounds.
This has actually made me feel so good that here lately, about a year ago, I started training jiu-jitsu, and that kind of led to doing some boxing and kickboxing. I mean, it's amazing that 2 years ago, I was on the couch and couldn't even tie my shoes, and now I'm training with MMA fighters and just doing stuff that I never thought that I would be doing ever again. So Super Male Vitality has allowed me to do some amazing things, and if it has those kind of effects for me, I know that it will do great things for you. So just try Super Male Vitality. I promise you, you'll love it.
And finally, let's look at Anthony Gucciardi, Infowars.com reporter. He also works with Dr. Group and others, helping develop the newest, most cutting-edge, high-quality supplements. Let's take a look at what happened when he tried to barefoot ski for the first time with the Steiners. And remember, we're not making fun of him. He had the will to get in the arena, and he's lost more than 10 pounds in the last few years of fat and gained more than 10 pounds of muscle. And Anthony chalks it up to Super Male Vitality as well. Bottom line, folks, you want to discover the power of Super Male Vitality and Super Female Vitality for yourself by visiting InfoWarsLife.com today or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.